I want to share a few of my insights that I've gathered from the last 20 years. The first one is a bit of a pet peeve of mine. Whenever I hear somebody say, "Oh, I relapsed," I kind of cringe a little bit, because as long as you speak like an addict, you'll probably behave like an addict too. And the whole relapse vocabulary is rooted in a victimhood mentality, a shame-based mentality that is likely going to keep you stuck. Because victimhood mentality in itself can be addictive, right? So just look at semen retention as any other practice or any other skill. You know, you're learning, you fall, you get up, and that's it. There's no failure. You're just simply gathering information, like what triggered me. You know, was I tired? Was I overwhelmed? Was I stressed? Was I hungry? You know, was I thinking of my ex? You know, stuff like that. And so this clarity is what will then allow you to move forward with even more conviction the next time. And sorry, I have my notes here. I don't have superhuman memory, but number 2 is a big one. And I know the NoFap community is going to hate me for this, but please stop counting days. Unless, again, I'll stress this, unless you are a beginner, it's okay, right? Because you, as a beginner, you accept the challenge. Let's say you want to make it to 30 days. You want to make it to 30 days no matter, at all costs, because you simply want to get that victory, and you want to taste what it feels like to be on the other side. So if you need to white knuckle your way through it, it's okay, you know. But in the long run, it is not. It's not helpful. Like your streak means nothing if your life didn't change. I've seen like men at 100 days, like holding on for dear life, trying to get to the magical number and hoping something happens, you know, at 100 days or whatever. Like angels coming out of the sky with trumpets and like having this massive, you know, rapture moment. It's not like this. Versus men who are at 30 days, who are taking action, you know, and who can barely remember their previous identity. You know, that's real progress. They've escaped the dopamine prison. And so instead of counting days, you know, count weights lifted, prayers said, tasks completed, money earned, you know, whatever it is that you're focusing on. And so try to get your dopamine from that, instead of trying to get your dopamine from winning your streak. Although again, as a beginner, it's okay, you know. So just know when to apply what kind of advice for what stage you're on. Number 3, the benefits of semen retention that everybody is screaming about, they will plateau very soon, actually. So the confidence, the energy boost, the clarity, it's all great, but after 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks, it will all just plateau. You know, your testosterone is up 500%. I'm just kidding. But this is where the real work begins, the purification, the transformation. Like the sexual energy has, you could say, 2 functions. The first is the most known. Of course, it has a creative function. It's a creative energy. And so it can fuel you, right, to have more impact in the world, in your business, in relationships, in your creative endeavors. All this excess energy becomes available to you. So those are the direct, immediate benefits, right? And then there's a second function, which is perhaps a bit more metaphysical, but sexual energy creates, but it also destroys, in the sense that it's like a fire. It destroys, it deconstructs, and it forges you, like through the heat and the pressure. It forges you just like it forges a sword. And so again, and this is more like not beginner's advice, but like intermediate advice, that forget about the benefits. Like those are just a cherry on top. What really matters is who you become in the process. Also, semen retention will destroy you if you are using it for self-gratification. And this is point number 4. If you're using semen retention for to feel superior, to gain superpowers, or to prove something, it will eventually backfire. And for the reasons I've explained previously, is that the sexual energy is a fire, and it will burn away all of your bullshit, all of the things that are unnecessary or out of alignment or simply not authentic or true. But to be honest, this is part of the process. So if you are going into semen retention for, with these egoic intentions, whatever, it's okay, I did, like when I was in my early 20s, I was quite insecure. I was really bad with women. So the first thing I did was get the girl, give her amazing sex, get the validation, so etc., etc. So you could say like you're improving, but you're still coping, you're still compensating for something deeper. But you got to just trust the process that will be revealed to you. But that means that if you're holding on to sexual energy for power, it will burn you. Play with fire, you get burnt. Same thing. So instead of hoarding our sexual energy, it is really important to make sure that you allow it to circulate, basically. And so if we don't grab onto this sexual energy and allow it to circulate, that initiates then a deep healing journey, which is the final point number 5. And so the intensity of the sexual energy will start to illuminate you from the inside, in a way like it starts to map out your inner landscape, and it starts to expose all the things that need to be seen, basically all the things you're compensating for, like the suppressed emotions, the anger, the shame, the trauma, all the tensions you're holding in your body, all of that will get exposed. And so if you are using semen retention to compensate, it will take you to that wound where this behavior is coming from. And like I said, as long as you allow the sexual energy to circulate, then it can do what it needs to do. It will burn away what doesn't serve you, and you just gotta trust that whatever needs to stay will stay. And so all we gotta just do at that point is just allow ourselves to sit in that fire, which is actually the hardest part, right? And so this is where sometimes it's useful, it's helpful to get some extra help, get somebody who can keep you in that fire, right, to marinate without jumping out of that. But other than that, there's not much to be done at that point other than to just see and feel our way through that process as these things get revealed to you. And the rest is just pure grace, really. And because of that, for grace to do what it needs to do, what really matters ultimately, right, is how we are orientated. How are we orientating ourselves, away from self-gratification and slowly orientating ourselves towards the Most High, and that will define the speed and the efficiency of your process, of your transformation ultimately.